Lost River is the first film that is written and directed by Ryan Gosling, and it takes place in Detroit, but it's supposed to be an ambiguous place in the film, and where it's just this really rundown town that after they let a dam free, just completely took over everything. So what the story focuses on is on the character of Billy, who is played by Christina Hendricks, who was Ryan Gosling's co-star in Drive, and what she is this mom who has these two kids, and she's struggling to keep her home. So what she decides to do is to go work for the banker, who during the night, and the banker's played by Ben Mendelsohn, he has this nightclub, which is even weirder than the one in Enemy. At the same time, her eldest son, who's named Bones, who you may know from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., decides to go out and just take a bunch of scrap metal from all over the place. He befriends Sarah Reese Ronin's character, who's named Rat, because she has a rat, and then they get bullied by a guy named Bully, who's played by Matt Smith. Now you can clearly see the influences that Ryan Gosling has had with the directors that he's worked with before. You can see the Sion fronts with the way that he handles the characters, and he handles the actors well, but the characters themselves don't necessarily like pop out to you on screen since it is a artsy type of film. At the same time, he does have that symbolism in the way that he uses the color palette and what he claims to be an adult fairy tale, and where it's not so much, even though he has had help from Guillermo del Toro, it's not like a Pan's Labyrinth. It is more on the Refn side of things, sort of like what he did with Only God Forgives, and you can see the symbolism there with the color. And then the narrative is there. Like, I can clearly see any other director handling this and going, okay, we can, this can still be something that's not weird. Obviously, Gosling takes this and he makes it more of an artistic vision the way that he goes about it, but it still is a pretty simple story. It's this family, they're struggling and they're trying to get out of this. You're just seeing it from that lens of Gosling doing it in an artsy house type of way, and it's done in a sort of Terrence Malick type of way where it's more dependent on the visuals more than anything else. Now again, I was thinking these while I was looking at the movie and I'm like, yeah, I can see these influences, and then at the end, if you stay, he even thanks those 4 directors at the end of the credits. Now if those directors' movies don't do it for you, then this one probably won't, because while he still has his own style going in with it, the movie did get booed at Cannes, and it also didn't get really good reviews, but that isn't a reason for you to avoid this movie. You should still have your own opinion on it, and at the same time was released on video on demand, which many times may be a bad thing, but I think it works for this movie because this is a film where you need to be in the mood to watch it. What I appreciate about this film, however, is the fact that you can tell that every single frame was exactly what Gosling wanted it to be, and I think that that's really awesome that he was able to have his vision, portrayed on screen without it being filtered. At the same time, however, I can also give you reasonings why I'll probably never watch this movie again, and I was able to see it twice. However, he does handle the actors well. They're doing exactly what he wants them to do. At the same time, however, the actors aren't fully engaging because of the artistic viewpoint that we're seeing this movie, and where it's not so much a narrative as it is more dependent on the visuals. At the same time, these characters, some of them are a little bit obnoxious. Like Matt Smith's character, I just didn't understand why he continuously repeats these things that almost makes it comedic, and you're just looking at him like, okay, I don't understand what you're doing here. They also go about it in the visual style where, yes, it's very visual and you can see what they're doing, but there are moments where they do it in a sort of cutting fashion and where it's not necessarily bad, and it's not so much a preference as it is the fact that they're sort of cutting past the fact that they don't have to worry about continuity from having an angle here and then having an angle the other way, because they're having a conversation like, so what are you going to do later? And then they say, whoa, what I'm going to do later, and now they're like in a different position. It's sort of like, I don't understand this cutting type of method. They also do a lot of Lynch-like zooms in there. There's karaoke random moments. There's that whole scene that they have at the night bar, which I will say the 2 things that I really liked about this movie was that there's this sort of Joker death of the family type of thing that happens in the night bar that I thought was insane, and it was masterfully done. The use of color, because there is symbolism in this movie. It's not just saying, oh yeah, there's symbolism in the movie. What is it? I don't know. We just say it. No, there really is. Some of it is very simple to the point that it's just, falling house, just like this family is falling apart. There are other ones which are so blatantly obvious with the way they use the names, like Rat and Rat. There's Eva Mendes, aka Mrs. Gosling, whose name is Cat. There's Bully, who is a bully. Very simple things like that, like the grandma just watching her, wedding video over and over again. But then there are other things that they use symbolism with the color, like the abundance of purple, which when they have those scenes, it works because what the movie feels like is that they're really pushing forward the fact that it's a female protagonist lead, and where she is doing her own to make sure that her family is safe. At the end, however, and like I said, it's all dependent on the mood that you're watching this movie, and I think that if you like Gosling and his Refn roles, then you'll like this a bit more. I think that the acting was well done. Again, that doesn't mean that the characters are going to completely engage you. That doesn't mean that the visuals are completely going to blow you away, because there are some moments where it's visually really nice, but then there's a bunch of other moments where it's just regular, okay, you're just getting random shots, and then, oh, look, a bike that's on fire passes by. So it's sort of like a game game of going, okay, this shot looks really nice, and I have an idea for the next one, so we'll just wait until then. And it all depends on how you feel about the movie. So technically for me, I like that he was able to get his vision out there, that he was able to do what he wanted to, and I think that he will be able to get better at directing with the next features, especially if somebody else writes the script for him, maybe, perhaps. But perhaps maybe you still like the movie. So we can discuss it down below in the comments what you thought about it if you were able to check it out. It is on demand, and at the same time you may be able to catch it in theaters, but I'm curious if you are a fan of the silent sort of Ryan Gosling roles that he's been doing recently, what you think about his directorial debut, or if you would rather see him do something different. We can discuss the movie down below in the comments, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.